Part 119. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1195. Chapter 1174 Strange visitors in the deep chaos. Looking at the carriage flying from the depths of chaos, no, a dragon carriage. Su Junming and others frowned at the same time. It doesn't look like it comes from the real world of Jambudvipa, Chen Xianzang said. Hung Jun had been in more than a dozen Yuanhui in the Jamfa realm, and in his memory, this half-dragon, half-eagle beast had never appeared. Chaos is vast. Although the real world is not as numerous as the chaotic world, there are certainly many. I just don't know where this dragon chariot came from, Ao Tian said. Watching the dragon carriage suddenly turn around, fly to the left for a quarter of an hour, then turn around and fly back. He turned around several times in a row, as if he was looking for something. It's not looking for us, is it? Suda said. That place of chaos was once where the prehistoric world was. However, after the Chongshan True Realm passed through the tribulation, Su Junming kept pushing it to fly towards the depths of chaos. From the jade slip left by Lord Night Demon, we learned that chaos is vast and boundless, and no one knows how big it is. But what is certain is that chaos has its core. The closer to the core, the thicker the energy of chaos, the more true realms there are, the more powerful they are, and naturally there are more powerful ones. And the place where they are is just the edge of chaos. If you are content with the status quo, just like the real world of Jambudvipa, there is no harm in staying here. But Su Junming wanted to aspire to the Hongmeng Tianzun, and the spiritual energy on the periphery of chaos could not meet his needs. Therefore, after advancing to the Jamfa realm, the 8 people urged the Chongshan world to advance towards the depths of chaos, but not at a fast pace. But no matter how fast it is, 100 yuan will come down, and it will be far away from the place where the prehistoric past was. If Su Junming had not advanced in the path of destiny and had an accurate perception of his own blessings and misfortune, he would have been able to peep into it on a whim just now with the Dian mirror, and he might not have been able to discover it. The dragon chariot circled for more than 10 times, searching for all the chaos in a radius of hundreds of millions of miles, and then suddenly stopped. Along with the aura, a tall god and demon walked out of the palace. He was wearing a black robe, with a head like an octopus, and millions of densely packed tentacles. The way it meanders around and shakes its head is mind-numbing to watch. Oh my god, what kind of thing is this? It's so ugly, Suda said. The strength of Lord Hongmeng seems to come from a true world, Pan Tuo said. The octopus god and demon took out a long banner that exuded a rich cyan aura. After simply making a hand seal, he threw it casually. The long banner expanded instantly and turned into billions of meters in the blink of an eye. The huge green long flags made a haunting sound in the roaring chaotic energy. As the magic power of the octopus god became stronger and stronger, the mighty spiritual light flew in all directions like sharp arrows, and then gradually disappeared after going deep into the chaos for billions and billions of miles. Soon, an emotion called anger appeared in the bright yellow pupils of the octopus god demon. She put away the long cyan flag and flicked her fingers. 4 long black dragons looked up to the sky and roared, then turned around and flew towards where they came from. Su Junming activated the Dian divine mirror and chased 4 long black dragons through the boundless chaos. Gradually, a huge world appeared in front of him. Everyone who had seen Hung Jun's memory instantly recognized that this was the real world of Jambudvipa. The octopus god and demon grabbed the dragon chariot, took out a brass bell from his waist, and used his magic power to shake it a few times. 2 tyrannical divine lights flew out from the real world of Jambu. The light dissipated and the 2 figures gradually became clear. Among them is the familiar heavenly punishment master, and the one remaining next to him who has a distinct Shaklan appearance and looks very old is the strongest of the 3 great masters of the Jambu realm, the Jamabu master. It seems that his aura is indeed more powerful than that of the heavenly punisher, and his magic power is more than 10 times more powerful. I'm afraid this old man's cultivation has reached the peak of the supreme being, Renwuji said. Being able to become the master of a true world is naturally extraordinary, Ao Tian said. At the same time, far outside the real world of Jambudvipa, the Supreme Lord of Yamafu and the Supreme Lord of Heavenly Punishment bowed and saluted at the same time. See Ambassador Tama. You two don't need to be polite. After saying politely, fellow Taoist Tianxing, I didn't find the new true world you mentioned when I went this time. Lord Tianxing frowned. He did not doubt what the other party said, but he found it hard to believe it. Sir Tama, the old Taoist definitely did not deceive the Holy Court. Fellow Tianxing Daoist, I have misunderstood. The Holy Court has seen the image you left behind. It is indeed a new Hongmeng true realm. It's just that this world is a bit mysterious, and it has not been sensed by the Holy Court's most precious treasure, the Escape God realm. This time I came to look for it in person, but no trace was found, which is really incredible. Lord Tianxing hesitated for a moment. Fellow Taoist, you don't have to worry, just speak out if you have anything to say. After Tianxing nodded, to be honest, the reason why I went to the Chongshan True Realm was because a novice disciple said there was a middle-grade Hongmeng spiritual treasure there. As soon as these words came out, not only Tama, but also the eyes of Lord Yama next to him lit up. Is this true, fellow Taoist? I would never dare to deceive the superior. If it weren't for the temptation of this middle-grade Hongmeng Lingbao, I wouldn't go to that remote place. It's a pity that there are at least 2 superiors sitting in the Chongshan True Realm, plus the middle-grade Hongmeng spiritual treasure. I cannot covet Lingbao's suppression, so I will give up. Now that I think about it, the reason why this world can hide from the Escape God realm and even avoid the patrols of superior envoys is probably because of this treasure. The words of Lord Heavenly Punishment made Tama and Jambu calm down. That's right. The above-mentioned Lord holds the middle-grade Hongmeng spiritual treasure, and even the Great Lord can compete with it. It is basically impossible for them to seize the treasure. What fellow Taoist said makes sense. I will report this matter to the Holy Lord. If the Holy Court takes over this world in the future, fellow Daoist will definitely remember his great contribution. We are all members of the Holy Court, and it is our duty to be loyal to the king. We dare not claim merit. Tianxing bowed. Haha, having said that, I still deserve a reward. After a pause, do you have any clues about the death of Lord Night Demon? Not for the time being. However, the old Taoist boldly guesses that Lord Night Demon most likely fell into the hands of several supreme lords in the New World. Only those holding the middle-grade Hongmeng spiritual treasure can crush Night Demon and prevent him from even having any soul. None of them escaped, Tianxing Shangzun said. After pondering for a moment, Tama nodded. To be able to conceal the secrets of heaven and avoid deductions, it must be a mid-grade Hongmeng Lingbao. The people in this new world are so arrogant and bold. The Holy Court must teach them a lesson, lest they don't know the heights of the sky and repeatedly offend the power of the Holy Court, Tianxing said. Don't worry, you two, when I report to the Holy Court, I will definitely seek justice for fellow Daoist Night Demon. Farewell. Sir, please walk slowly. Tama cupped his hands, flew onto the dragon chariot, activated the seal, and the 4 black dragons hissed loudly, flapped their giant wings, and flew away like lightning. Seeing the dragon chariot disappear into the depths of chaos, Lord Yanfu, who had been silent for the whole time, turned his head. This time, fellow Taoist Heaven Punishment has made great achievements, and will definitely be valued by the Holy Court. He will enter the wild world to practice. According to your Taoist friend's advice, it's best not to make a final conclusion on this matter now. Lord Tianxing is very sober. A person holding a middle-grade Hongmeng spiritual treasure, with several superiors sitting in command, and the true world behind him may not be able to surrender even if the Holy Lord comes in person. If he loses miserably, he might even be angered, let alone enter the wild world to practice. So he didn't know how this matter would turn out. However, it would be in his best interest to take the initiative to expose this matter. Anyway, there is no way that the middle-grade Hongmeng spiritual treasure would fall into his hands. If it were handed over to the Holy Court, he might even get some benefits. My fellow Taoist, such a state of mind really makes Yanfu admire him. Fellow Taoist, you are exaggerating. After a pause, news came from the Holy Court that Lord Night Demon is dead, so it's time for you and me to discuss how to secure a wider place for our sons to live and reproduce. Haha, fellow Taoist, what you said is very true. After the two looked at each other and smiled tacitly, they returned to the real world of Jamfu. This world is called the true realm of Jambudvipa, but it is actually not a world created by Jambudvipa, but inherited. The first successor was Jambu Shangzun, so it was named after him. Both Tianxing and Night Demon are latecomers. Su Junming took a deep breath and stopped following the figure of Lord Tama. The power of the Dian Divine Mirror is indeed powerful. If you really push it with all your strength, it will be enough to see the boundless Hongmeng, but unfortunately the magic power is not enough to support his extravagant behavior. I didn't expect that these people actually knew each other, and they seemed to belong to the same force, Renwuji said in surprise. It's a pity that the jade slips left by Night Demon don't have many records about the events in Hongmeng, otherwise we could get a glimpse of what happened, Ao Tian said. My lord, I saw that Yanfu and Tianxing are plotting against our Chongshan realm. Do you want to take advantage of them and kill these two beasts? The Dragon Emperor looked cold and had murderous intent in his eyes. Su Junming thought for a while and shook his head. It's not necessary. With the protection of the Dian Divine Mirror, no one can figure out the whereabouts of the Chongshan realm. If something goes wrong, it will be easier to expose the location of the Chongshan realm. Chongshan realm is the foundation of everyone, and all risks of exposure should be eliminated. After hearing what he said, everyone stopped talking. Okay, you all stay here to practice while I explore the path in the chaos. We are too unfamiliar with Hongmeng. Chaos is vast, and I don't know how many mysteries are hidden there. In billions of worlds, there are countless strong people. In order to find out what happened, Su Junming once used all his magic power to activate the Dian Mirror. The sight he saw was something he would never forget. If he had not broken through Hongmeng and lacked strength, he would have wanted to explore the depths of chaos. After settling down the Dragon Emperor and others, and spending time with his wife and children, Su Junming urged Dun Guang to leave the world of Chongshan. This time he didn't bring anyone with him, not even Kongshan Jidojo stayed in Chongshan True Realm. The Dian Divine Mirror and the Gourd Vine are enough. Looking back, I saw the huge world covered by the 24 chaos formations, covering my body. I took a slight breath, and my heart moved. A simple stone bridge suddenly appeared under my feet. I'm leaving now, and I don't know how long it will take to come back. Shaking his head, he activated his magic power, and the stone bridge under his feet suddenly extended, flying into the depths of chaos like lightning. The next moment, thousands of spaces were folded by the stone bridge, causing Su Junming's figure to disappear like lightning. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1196. This is a huge black hole that spans billions of miles of chaos. The astonishing gravitational force pulls trillions of large and small chaotic sacred stones and flies rapidly around the black hole. And the farther outside the chaos divine stone is, the faster it is. The amazing speed, combined with the hardness and size of the chaos divine stone, the power of the rush is simply earth-shattering. Even Hunyuan Golden Immortal would not dare to step into his front. This is just the outside. The further inside, the faster the chaos divine stone becomes and the larger it becomes. 3 quadrillion miles around the black hole, hundreds of chaos divine stones are larger than a low-grade Hunyuan world. If they really collide, Hongmeng Master will be seriously injured. Su Junming stood on the periphery, watching the entire formation, with bursts of strange light in his eyes, as if countless divine inscriptions were flashing through his eyes. After a long time, everything calmed down. He breathed a sigh of relief. With the advancement of Tiangong Dao, he has been able to get a glimpse of the mystery of the formation here. I originally thought that the formation here was just man-made, but I didn't expect it to be a natural formation. He has been here for tens of thousands of years, and he is not in a hurry to enter, but has been studying the formation here again. After all, a grand formation that reaches the Hongmeng level is too rare, and it can make his formation cultivation even further. However, after understanding the formation here, he discovered that this formation, and the giant black hole, were not man-made arrangements, but existed innately. It was only later that it was deliberately modified to strengthen its power, and it became a Jedi that made people laugh. After looking at the greatly strengthened Tiangong talisman in his danshan, Su Junming smiled with satisfaction, and then his heart moved. The crystal-colored gourd of time shed heavy spiritual light and enveloped him. With one step, he flew straight towards the center of the black hole. The large and small chaos divine stones around him hit him with tremendous divine power, but Su Junming seemed to be an illusion, allowing the divine stone to pass through his body without any harm. The power of time is mysterious, and when activated, Su Junming has already been placed in another time and space, so he will naturally not be hit by the chaos divine stone. In less than a quarter of an hour, they passed through the chaotic stone formation that terrified countless Hunyuan golden immortals and even Hongmeng Master. Staring at the almost irreversible darkness at the center of the black hole, Su Junming's eyes showed a trace of enthusiasm. With one step, he flew straight into the darkness. At this point, although there is no such powerful and earth-shattering chaos divine stone, the gravity emitted by the black hole is astonishingly great. Even the chaos divine stone can be crushed to pieces here. Even the time power on Su Junming's body was distorted by the strong gravity. Fortunately, his cultivation level has advanced to Hongmeng, and Shi Dao Dao Xin has advanced to the peak of the Supreme Realm after practicing in the more than 100 UN Guild. Paired with the time gourd, it can also resist this powerful gravity. However, he deliberately slowed down his escape speed compared to before. Even he had to be careful when he got here. Fortunately, he had studied the formation before and had figured out the reality of the formation. As long as he was careful, he would be fine. After penetrating the endless darkness, a little light finally appeared in front of my eyes. The distance was shortened, and a vast immortal mansion appeared in front of them. From the outside, the immortal mansion only covers an area of about 1 million acres, but inside it is shrouded in clouds and fog, with many palaces and palaces, as if it contains endless space. Su Junming himself practiced Huishan Taoism, and soon felt the strong charm of space Taoism from it. After examining it for a while, he floated away. As if an invisible barrier had been penetrated, the strong gravity dissipated instantly. As his body fell, everything around him quickly magnified. From the outside, the bluestone square, which was only 100 acres in size, instantly expanded to nearly millions of acres. I stepped on it with the soles of my feet, and a trace of rosy clouds floated from the sapphire-like floor tiles under my feet. It's quite extraordinary. Looking up, there are 3 huge jade archways standing in the distance. Thousands of feet high, looking from a distance, it looks like a pillar supporting the sky. The complex and exquisite archway shines with a hazy blue divine light, isolating the tyrannical gravity in the black hole, and at the same time dispelling the surrounding darkness. Different from the archways that Su Junming had seen before in the prehistoric world, there were no divine patterns on them, and they seemed to be just magical tools that isolated gravity. Activate the escape light and pass through the triple archway, and a huge portal appears in front of you. It is 3,000 feet high and 2,500 feet wide. The raised ridge in the middle is covered with a tall and towering stone gate. There are no doornails or headboards. The two sapphire-like stone doors are embossed with two tiger heads and ox bodies, which look like flying tigers, and strange beasts that look like cows but are not cows. The ferocious tiger's mouth is open, and the black hole seems to be invisible to the bottom. There are stone carvings, but the tiger's eyes are wide open and full of evil spirits, as if they are ready to kill intruders at any time. The momentum is extremely powerful. There are thousands of feet high walls on both sides of the stone gate. Of course, if you think you can get in by crossing the wall, you are totally wrong. The powerful restriction isolates the inside and outside. Without extraordinary means, there is no way to cross it. Looking up, there is a white stone tablet floating above the stone door, with the 4-character spiritual pattern shining brightly. Now that more than 100 yuan we have come down, and supplemented by the jade slips left by Lord Night Demon, he has understood nearly 3,000 Kanyang spiritual patterns. Except for a few profound and mysterious spiritual patterns, most of them are recognized. By the way, we know from the jade slips set by Lord Night Demon that the real name of this kind of writing that is more complex than divine patterns is not Kanyang spirit pattern, but Hongmeng spirit pattern. Every word represents the most profound truth between heaven and earth. The meaning of the 4-character spiritual pattern on this stone tablet is Kanyang Immortal Mansion. I have been thinking about this immortal mansion for more than 100 yuan, and now I am finally standing here. Activate the space talisman to communicate with the space gourd, and a sky blue aura flies towards the stone door. Visible to the naked eye, the dots of black brilliance are getting bigger and bigger, and gradually a black space channel the size of a bowl emerges. Su Junming turned into a spiritual light and flew in like lightning. When he reappeared, he was already in the immortal mansion. Looking closely, everything around me becomes vast and distant again. From the outside, it looks like a place that is only 1,000,000 acres in size, but when you actually step into it, it is magnified 10,000 times. The palaces are separated by tens of miles, and the green belts dotted in the middle are dense and tall, like the vicissitudes of the woods. The passages and corridors connected to each other are connected for thousands of miles, like a rainbow stretching across the sky. However, the deathly silence made the place look lifeless and strange. Su Junming glanced briefly, took a step forward, and flew straight into the depths of the immortal mansion. There are countless yuanhui in Kanyang Immortal Mansion. Everything outside has been explored too many times by the monks who came here before, and there are no treasures that he can see. On the contrary, the array of auras at the core of the immortal mansion is even more worth exploring. Not long after traveling hundreds of thousands of miles, Su Junming stopped in front of a huge lotus pond. In the lotus pond, covering an area of millions of acres, the Hunyuan spiritual water shimmers with light blue aura, exuding a rich water essence. On the calm water, there are lotus leaves measuring 9 feet in size, layered on top of each other, rising nearly 100 feet into the sky. The green lotus leaves are full of vitality, and the rich Yumu spiritual energy turns into a layer of faint green brilliance, like a thin veil, covering the lotus pond. Coupled with the white aura that enveloped the entire immortal mansion, it would have been a wonderful sight if the surroundings had not been completely silent and no human voice could be heard. After a brief moment of consciousness, he flicked his finger. A ray of light flew towards the lotus pond. But seeing that this spiritual light seemed to disturb the misty Yumu spiritual energy, the latter started to roll rapidly. A fierce murderous intent suddenly became intense. The two collided, like spring nibbling away leaves, and Su Junming's aura was quickly drained away. What a sinister forbidden law! After closing his eyes and meditating for a moment, his mind moved, and thousands of arms instantly appeared behind his back. The next moment, countless handprints gathered into a ball of light blue light in Su Junming's palm. Duh! He drank in his mouth and his aura surged. The moment the two sides touched, the Yumu spiritual energy in the lotus pond surged like a sea tide, stirring up thousands of waves. After surging for a while, it suddenly retracted. In the blink of an eye, millions of acres of lotus ponds disappeared, leaving only a vast concave pond. He stretched out his hand, and above the lotus pond, emerald green beads the size of a water tank flew towards him like lightning. The bead slowly shrank and fell into the palm of the hand. This bead is the final treasure of the previous formation. After playing with it for a while, his face showed joy. It is rare to find a low-grade Hongmeng spiritual material. It belongs to Yumu, but it is also extremely precious. He patted the gourd on his waist and put away the Yumu spirit bead. Without the obstruction of the lotus pond, a huge 3-story palace with a height of tens of thousands of feet appeared in front of us. With one step, he arrived at the steps in front of the giant palace in an instant. There are dozens of auxiliary halls on both sides and in the front and back. Because of the protection of the lotus pond formation, this place has not been disturbed. After looking at the 3-legged giant cauldron on the left and right sides of the steps, which was up to 100 feet high and made entirely of Hunyuanling copper, but was only used for decoration, his eyes followed the central passage, passed through the 99 steps, and landed on the whole body. On the dark red heavy wooden door. Although the portal, which is 1,000 feet wide and 3,000 feet high, is not strange at all, Su Junming can clearly sense the tyrannical restrictions above. After arriving here, the surrounding restrictions were more than 10,000 times stronger than the outside. Even Lord Hongmeng would not dare to force his way in if he didn't use the formation and didn't have powerful treasures. Su Junming took a step forward and arrived in front of the main hall. The gourd in the space above his head shed a straight line of azure divine light directly at the palace door. Along with little sparks of light, a space passage the size of a fist emerged. The body transformed into a escaping light and flew in, and a magnificent palace suddenly appeared in front of my eyes. There is no cloud-covered fairy atmosphere. 8 copper pillars with a diameter of 1,000 feet and embossed beast heads and tiger bodies support the entire hall. At the top, there is a bright pearl several feet in diameter, illuminating every detail of its surroundings. It is surrounded by thick walls, engraved with exquisite murals, including killing scenes and stories of worship. But the core character is a god and demon with the head of a tiger, the body of a spider, and the tail of a snake. Half of the murals tell his story. Control the gods and seize life and death. The second half is a war, and the one fighting against it is a god and demon with a bull's head, holding a giant axe, and holding a pearl in his palm. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1197. The 2 gods and demons have countless strong men under their command, and they fight each other. In the end, the bull-headed god-demon was even better, killing the tiger-headed god-demon and wiping out all his subordinates. Hey, interesting. Su Junming urged his consciousness to touch the mural, and a vortex instantly appeared on the originally solid wall, swallowing his consciousness. In an instant, everything in the mural became clear. The tyrannical killing energy disrupted billions of miles of chaos. The aura of the god and demon with the head of a tiger and the body of a spider and the tail of a snake was earth-shattering. A long knife in his hand burst out with billions of cold lights. The space was unable to withstand the murderous intent of this giant knife and was shattered. Even Su Junming felt that his cultivation was too far behind compared to his peers. This is the great master. I understand clearly in my heart. Under the command of this tiger-headed god and demon, there are tens of billions of troops, densely packed, occupying infinite chaos. Even the weakest among them has a cultivation level above Hunyuan. Opposite it, the same goes for the bull-headed god and demon. He has a great master-level cultivation and has countless strong men under his command. However, unlike the tiger-headed god and demon, he has human race, sand race, and even dragon race under his command, all kinds of strange. But the quality of the strong ones was still higher than that of the tiger-headed gods and demons on the opposite side, but their quantity was much less. Shao Maha, you demon spirit clan has actually offended our wild world, the bull-headed demon said angrily. The domineering voice shook hundreds of millions of miles. Haha, Ken Yang, our world of demon spirits is favored by the fate of chaos. There are countless strong people, and they will definitely become the upper realm in the future. Your world of wild wilderness is just a newly opened land. Compared with my world of demon spirits, it is nothing more than a newly opened land. Backcountry corridor. Between us, we might as well take the initiative to integrate into our world of demon spirits. When our world is promoted, you will also share your luck, the tiger-headed demon laughed. Humph. In the entire borderland and the 300 realms, who doesn't know that your demon spirit clan is ferocious and murderous? If I join you, I'm afraid it won't be long before our various tribes in the wilderness become your demon spirit clan. Strong rations. So, you rejected my kindness. If you want to annex my Manghuang realm, you can only step over me, Ken Yang. Since you are so ignorant, don't blame me for being ruthless. He raised the giant sword in his hand and said, my dear fellows, kill these guys, and you will be free to use everything in the wild world. The countless tiger-headed gods and demons behind him instantly started making noises, and with a powerful momentum, they were like a tide, and they were heading forward to kill. Brothers in the wild world, imagine your tribe and your family. If you don't want them to be enslaved and devoured by these disgusting beasts, today we can only fight to the death. Fight to the death, fight to the death. Kill. Under the leadership of Ken Yang, everyone rushed forward with the determination to die. A tragic war broke out. Hundreds of millions of miles of chaos were beaten into a pot of porridge. The tragic sound of fighting was earth-shattering. The strong evil spirit and the overwhelming murderous aura can make one's liver and gallbladder split. Even though Su Junming was a supreme cultivator, he couldn't help but be shocked when faced with such killings. Compared with this, the immeasurable calamities in the prehistoric world are simply child's play. I don't know how long this fighting has been going on, but the vast chaos has already been filled with countless corpses and blood. Both sides suffered heavy casualties, but no one retreated. Suddenly, earth-shattering axe light penetrated the entire chaos. Ken Yang. With an angry and shocked roar, the huge tiger head fell down. There was another flash of axe, and all the demon spirit tribe warriors were killed. However, after beheading the tiger-headed god and demon Shao Maha, Ken Yang's condition was not good, especially with a stab wound on his chest that penetrated directly to his chest and abdomen, and his breath was much weaker than before. Su Junming's heart moved, and his consciousness returned to the previous hall. Looking at the mural, I am still shocked by the previous scene. Although it was just an illusion, dozens of times worse than a real fight, even so, it still shocked him. The tyranny of Grand Master Hongmeng caused hundreds of superiors to fight, and tens of billions of Hunyuan monks fought on the battlefield. The boundless chaos was turned into a mess, and the space of billions of miles was torn into pieces. This was the first time for Su Junming to experience such a scene. Demon Spirit Clan? Shao Maha? The great realm of wilderness? The great world of demon spirits? Each new term made him curious. At the same time, we also understand that the so-called big world is the middle-grade Hongmeng world. He shook his head. Now was not the time to think about this. He turned his head and looked forward. In the center of the main hall, there is a giant earth-yellow cauldron with a height of 3,000 feet. Standing on 4 legs, the walls are thick and embossed with dense spiritual patterns. From a distance, it looks simple and clumsy. The rich Wu Tu Dao rhyme shook Su Junming's mind. Low-grade Hongmeng Lingbao. Joy welled up in my heart. Spiritual treasures are precious. Until now, he and Dragon Emperor have not managed to get 2 of them together. It is a great opportunity to come across one here. As for the previous Yumu Lingzhu, it was only Hongmeng spiritual material, not a spiritual treasure. But I am glad that this cauldron cannot be moved easily. The heavy restrictive array makes it obvious at first glance that it is not easy to mess with. However, I am someone who has understood the formation path to the Hongmeng realm. After saying that, he took a breath and sat down cross-legged. The hall fell silent. Only Su Junming had a sudden flash of inspiration, and the rich rhyme of the array appeared, shining brightly. He didn't know how long it had passed before he slowly opened his eyes. He looked at the cauldron and then at the top of the hall. Interesting, although the power of this formation is not outstanding among low-grade Hongmeng level formations, it is not very clever at all. As his heart moved, countless arms appeared behind him. And hundreds of millions of handprints gathered into a powerful spiritual light, flying straight towards the cauldron. The two sides touched. Boom. The dull sound was thick and powerful. The next moment, Wutu Dayun became tens of thousands of times more powerful, and a rich earthy yellow spiritual light bloomed, instantly covering the entire hall. Under the vast spiritual light, the Wutu giant cauldron, which was as heavy as a giant mountain, slowly flew up. Bathed in the spiritual light, the night pearl above his head slowly flew down. After reaching the top of the giant Wutu cauldron, the light of the giant cauldron slowly shrank back, and the milky white beads gradually became transparent, and soon the things hidden in the beads were revealed. A huge tiger head, a ferocious spider body, and a mottled snake tail. Even though countless Yuan Hui died, the astonishing evil aura on his body was still breathtaking. Is this Xiao Maha? Su Junming saw the illusion just now and quickly recognized the identity of the corpse. I didn't expect that after Xiao Maha was beheaded, his body was placed here. Soon, the 9 beads merged into the belly of the giant Wutu giant cauldron. The bright brilliance gave the giant cauldron a touch of flashiness, and its aura became much stronger. This is your original appearance. He reached out and made a move, and the cauldron instantly shrank and flew into his palm. Suddenly, a black stream of light flew toward his eyebrows like lightning. The speed was so fast that he was in front of him in an instant. Shua! A black vortex floated, suddenly appearing between the eyebrows. The black stream of light wanted to turn around, but was enveloped by a powerful force of swallowing, and was swallowed without any resistance. Soon, the black vortex turned into a fist-sized pillar, falling in front of Su Junming. In the pillar, a mass of black energy rushed left and right, but could not escape. I even want to become a monster even if I'm sad. Xiao Mohi's soul had long been killed by Ken Yang, but the body had been sealed for a long time, and countless souls came down, and actually gave birth to demonic thoughts. Unfortunately, no matter how strong it is, it cannot escape the suppression of a Hongmeng spiritual treasure. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1198. Chapter 1177 Divine Treasure Tianzun, Tower of Babel. I just wanted to wipe out this remnant soul, but stopped after thinking about it. There was a movement in my heart, and the spiritual talisman in my dantian was shining brightly. Search for souls. After a moment, he shook his head in disappointment. Originally, he thought he could get some memories of Xiao Maha, get a glimpse of the situation in the world of demons, or some mysteries deep in Hongmeng. Little did he know that all he got were crazy evil thoughts. Thinking about it, this is normal. Any creature locked in countless small dark rooms of Yuanhui will go crazy. Even for him, the longest time he could stay in seclusion at first was only 1 Yuanhui. At that point, he would have to spend several years, or even decades, relaxing and cultivating his mind before continuing to retreat. If you want to go into seclusion for hundreds of Yuanhui, you will be like Wang Jia when you come out. You can only say that your brain is broken. Pity. With a thought in his heart, the space gourd swallowed up the soul and Xiao Maha's body. Although a lot of the essence of this physical body has been lost after being sealed by Wu Yuanhui, most of it is still retained because of the existence of the seal. After swallowing the physical body of this soul, with the foundation of the space gourd, one can almost advance to the middle grade Hongmeng spiritual treasure realm. After all, Xiao Mohi was the great master Hongmeng at his peak. However, it had no intention of cultivating the gourd vine and the 13 natal gourds with the Yumu spirit beads and the god-conferring cauldron in front of it. A low-grade Hongmeng spiritual material and a 3 restricted low-grade Hongmeng spiritual treasure. For the gourd vine and 13 life gourds, which have now reached the peak of low-grade Hongmeng spiritual roots, although the benefits are considerable, they cannot produce qualitative changes. Rather than that, it's better to stay. Su Buhui and Su Buhui don't have Hongmeng Lingbao to hold the battle yet. This is his direct bloodline, so he, as a father, cannot help but worry too much. After taking away the most core treasure in the hall, the place has lost its value to him. He activated the Dian mirror and looked around. After missing nothing, he turned around and walked out, going around the corridor on the left to the back. A lush Kyanglan forest stretching for tens of thousands of miles appeared in front of us. In the middle, a stone path about 300 feet wide passes through the forest and stretches into the distance. Su Junming briefly glanced at the large trees on both sides of the stone road, which were 100 feet high and had lush branches. What's strange is that this big tree that looks like a sycamore has several pink flowers the size of millstones. At first glance, the red is cute and the green is provocative. They complement each other and are extremely beautiful. Obviously, this is a unique spiritual root. If you feel its strong Jiamudeo charm, you will know that it is of high quality. Although the high-grade Hunyuan Lingbao is not precious, there are thousands of them here. If they are sent to Chongshan world, they can satisfy many tool people, Su Junming sighed. Although because of the existence of Hungman's good fortune spiritual water, Chongshan Academy has never lacked spiritual roots. But cultivating spiritual roots is indeed a hard work. Adding these thousands of mature high-grade Hunyuan spiritual roots, the efficiency of transforming the energy of chaos is 100 times that of the middle-grade Hongmeng spiritual roots, and 10,000 times that of the low-grade Hongmeng spiritual roots. Moreover, there are hundreds of thousands of similar Hunyuan spiritual roots in this immortal mansion, and there are even more Deluo-level spiritual roots. Most of them are used for decoration, which is a waste of natural resources. If all of them were given to Deluo and Hunyuan realm monks, the speed of expansion of the Chongshan True Realm would be increased by at least 3 times. He reached out and made a move, and a pale white breath flew over from the top of the stone path. He held it in his hand and looked at it briefly. After touching it with his spiritual consciousness, a trace of confusion came to his mind. However, Su Junming quickly calmed him down with his heart. Illusion. He has seen many spiritual roots that can cause illusions, but he has never seen one as high as this strange tree. I was about to take it away, but after thinking about it, I suppressed my thoughts. Things can't escape here, so it's better to get the things at the back first. Actuating the space talisman, a celestial azure light enveloped the whole body. With one step, his figure instantly passed through the stone path and stopped in front of a 100-foot-tall stone door. There is nothing strange about Shimon, there are many of them in the entire immortal mansion. But the restriction above is not weak, but it is incomparable to the previous restriction that sealed Xiao Maha. He activated the space cord and opened a passage smoothly. After flying in, the space in front of you instantly opened up. At the end of the extremely flat and spacious square, which covers tens of millions of acres, stands a giant tower millions of feet high. From a distance, it looks like a jade pillar rising straight into the sky, exuding an arrogance that is unparalleled in the world. I looked specifically at the top of the giant tower, where there was a circle of brilliant 9-color lights blooming. "Aren't you coming out yet?" A clear voice echoed throughout the square. But after a while, There was no movement. Su Junming shook his head, and with a flick of his finger, a spiritual light flew dozens of hundreds of feet, and was blocked by a piece of light cyan horn. The light blue horn grew larger and larger, gradually turning into a scale that was 3 feet in size. 1 scale, 10 scales, and a strange giant beast appeared out of thin air. Su Junming had never seen a giant beast with this appearance. It has the head of a dragon, and its body is similar to that of a rhinoceros, but it is covered with scales. It has 6 legs under its belly, and its feet are as sharp as an eagle. A thick tiger tail hangs casually behind it. A sky blue orb the size of an adult's fist floated above the opponent's head. A faint blue aura enveloped it. The light brown vertical pupils, which revealed the aura of vicissitudes of life, looked at the green-robed Taoist dozens of feet away. "How did you find me?" "I have my own methods, but they're just not enough for outsiders." The giant beast nodded, with emotion in his tone. When the old master was still here, he often said that there are countless strong people in Hongmeng, and there are countless extraordinary skills. At that time, I still didn't believe it, but now I do. His eyes turned to Su Junming. "You can come this far, and you are obviously a master who is proficient in formations. According to the old master's instructions, if you stop here, you can take away the treasures in the Hongtian Palace in front, but you cannot enter the Tongtian Tower in the back." "What if I insist on going in?" Su Junming said calmly. The giant beast shook his head. 3,786 yuan will come. "I have heard the same words 19 times, but none of them can enter the Babel Tower, and even the treasures taken previously are left here. So, are you sure you want to continue? Now that we've come this far, of course we have to give it a try. Since you insist on this, I won't persuade you anymore. However, I am the guardian of the Babel Tower, the Shenbao Tianzan 11 Zhao. As long as you can defeat me, you can enter the Babel Tower. If you can't defeat me, I won't hurt you. Leave all the treasures except the life treasure, and leave the immortal mansion." Su Junming smiled and nodded. As his heart moved, an emerald green vine flew out of his body. Winding and circling, like a giant dragon, it turned into a giant 100 feet in the blink of an eye, protecting Su Junming in the middle. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1199. Chapter 1178 Hongmeng Lingbao, Tianhai Divine Pearl. Seeing the gourd vine, 11 Zhao showed a hint of surprise on his face, but he quickly calmed down. "What's the name of your spiritual root? It's actually so strong." He has followed Lord Kanyang through tens of thousands of Yuanhui and has seen countless spiritual roots, but this is the first time he has seen such a powerful low-grade Hongmeng spiritual root. His expression became a little more solemn for a while, but he had no intention of backing down. "If you win me, my name will tell you. If you can't win, it's useless to say more." Looking at his calm look, 11 Zhao said, "Although your spiritual root is good, it is still a low-grade Hongmeng Lingbao, and my Tianhai Pearl is a middle-grade Hongmeng Lingbao from the 5 spiritual taboos. Are you so sure that you can win me? Whether you can win or not, you won't know until you fight, right?" Su Junming said calmly. A trace of anger flashed in 11 Zhao's eyes and he snorted coldly. "Stubborn. That's fine. Let me teach you a lesson." The celestial pearl above the head shines brightly, and the sound of rolling waves is earth-shattering. The next moment, the mighty blue spiritual water emerged from the darkness, and with overwhelming momentum, it pressed down overwhelmingly. This spiritual water is extraordinary water. It is a spiritual thing in Hongmeng, the essence of 10,000 waters. A drop of it can transform rivers and seas, and its weight is comparable to mountains. When this majestic force comes, even the Hunyuan world can be destroyed. However, this place is the core of Kanyang Immortal Mansion. Under the protection of infinite restrictions, the space is frozen to the extreme. Therefore, although the space is trembling, it is not damaged. Staring at the earth-shattering water, Su Junming looked calm and his heart moved slightly. The surrounding gourd vines are like dragons and snakes rising from the land, growing and expanding rapidly, and in an instant they become huge. Boom! The huge impact sound shook the entire Kanyang Immortal Mansion. Under this huge force, a large piece of the gourd vine suddenly dented. But after all, it is the pinnacle of low-grade Hongmeng, and it is the top spiritual root that breeds the 13 fundamental avenues. Although the impact of the Tianhai Lingzhu is powerful, it cannot destroy the calabash vine at once. What's more, Su Junming also used his trump card. In the Danshan, the Dian divine mirror hangs high, and the water-like aura of creation shrouds the roots of the calabash vine. With the blessing of the mighty aura of creation, the various abilities of the calabash vine are increased by more than thousands of times. 11 Zhao frowned. Although the attack just now used only 80% of the power of Tianhai Lingzhu, he didn't know that a low-grade Hongmeng Lingbao could block it. Regardless of whether a monk is a spiritual treasure or a spiritual material, the gap increases as the level goes up. The gap between low-grade Hongmeng and high-grade Hongmeng is wider than the gap between a piece of mortal iron and chaos divine iron. It can be said that they are completely two levels. If not, the heavenly punishment Supreme Master would not have been scared away in the chaos. His eyebrows slowly rose, and a trace of surprise appeared on his face. His Qingming Zhen Shui is actually being swallowed. Su Junming stood in the center of the gourd vine, with his hands behind his back, looking relaxed. The five-element gourd in the Danshan is shining with brilliance, and the immeasurable aura of sunflower water is being swallowed up. Seeing 11 Zhao's stunned look, he smiled faintly. It's still a little slow. With a movement in his heart, the space gourd and the swallowing gourd aura bloomed. In an instant, the devouring speed of the gourd vine became several times stronger. Boom! The turbulent spiritual water collapsed instantly, as if an infinite black hole appeared in front of it, swallowing up all the water. 11 Zhao's expression changed drastically. Not good. He quickly gathered his magic power. The overwhelming water disappeared instantly. Feeling that the spiritual power in the Tianhai Lingzhu had been weakened a lot, 11 Zhao's face became increasingly ugly. Staring at the gourd vine that is coiled like a dragon and snake, blooming with endless inspiration. It's just a low-grade Hongmeng spiritual root, how can it be so strong, 11 Zhao thought to himself. At this time, the gourd vine suddenly moved, revealing Su Junming inside. It seems that this so-called Tianhai Lingzhu is not as powerful as you said. Seeing him as calm as before, with no movement of his clothes, 11 Zhao felt something strange and annoying. Damn bastard, how dare you despise me? Take a deep breath. Okay, let me show you how powerful my spirit beads are. The magic power in Danshan boiled instantly, and the angry 11 Zhao couldn't hold back this time. As if sensing the owner's emotions, the sky-blue orb the size of a sea bowl floating above his head trembled violently. With a buzz sound, a water-blue divine light that was as solid as a substance shot up into the sky, like a 10,000-foot-long divine sword, trying to cut open the sky. That indomitable momentum and the sharp sword energy instantly made Su Junming's expression solemn. He was happy with his mouth, but he never dared to despise it in his heart. He owns the Dian Divine Mirror and the Chaos Green Lotus, and he knows very well how powerful a mid-grade Hongmeng Lingbao is. Although his gourd vine is not bad, it can barely block the middle-grade Hongmeng Lingbao with 4 restrictions. 5 restrictions are much more difficult. At the Hongmeng stage, the difference between a restriction and the power of Lingbao is the difference between heaven and earth. The calabash vine has reached this point and is already able to transcend levels, which is enough to show its heritage and power. The power of the gourd vine alone cannot stop this killing technique. Feeling the murderous aura as if a sword was hanging on his neck, Su Junming was also surprised by the power of this blow. With a thought in his heart, the divine light of creation in the Danshan Dian mirror instantly became hundreds of times stronger. The bronze martial arts gourd began to tremble instantly. With the blessing of the Dian divine mirror, the martial arts gourd's light grew more than 1,000 times. At the same time, a faint bronze divine light emerged from the stems and leaves of the gourd vine. In an instant, a Taoist rhyme that was impervious to all evil and was extremely hard filled the air. Of course 11 Zhao also felt the changes in Calabash Vine, but he was more confident in his Tianhai Divine Pearl. Since the old master gave this spiritual treasure to him to guard the immortal mansion and the 3000 Yuan association, he has defeated more than a dozen Hongmeng masters who broke into this place. He also used formations to block several Hongmeng masters. Therefore, it has enough confidence to kill the thief with one sword. Thief, look at my sword of heaven and see. Cut. With an angry shout, he swung down one arm violently. The mighty water blue sword light was like the Milky Way pouring down, flying down like lightning with the force of opening up the world. A distance of hundreds of thousands of feet was covered in an instant, and he was in front of the gourd vine in the blink of an eye. Choke. The earth-shattering sound of gold and iron clashing echoed in all directions. Violent impact, lightning-fast expansion. The surrounding extremely solid space also trembled violently, countless black space cracks appeared, and even time was shattered. Boom! Kanyang Immortal Mansion trembled, and the Babel Tower behind it also shook endlessly. Everything around seemed to be in an earthquake. Endless spiritual light soared into the sky, and the vast light even illuminated half of the black hole. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1200. Chapter 1179, Fighting. I don't know how long it took before everything calmed down a little. Looking at the gourd vine that was only dented but not damaged at all, 11 Zhao's face was filled with shock. How can it be? It should be noted that this time he not only used all his magic power, but also activated one of the 2 magical powers of the Tianhai Lingzhu, the Tianhai Divine Sword. This killing magical power helped him fight back and even kill him in the past 3000 Yuan club. He met more than a dozen Hongmeng Shangzun. Now, his most powerful method has failed. Impossible, absolutely impossible, a low-grade Hongmeng spiritual root will never have such power. There was a hint of disbelief and hysteria in 11 Zhao's tone. Su Junming's expression was still the same as before, quiet, as if he had everything under control. This is also true. No matter how powerful the Tianhai Divine Pearl was, it was infinitely inferior to his Dian Divine Mirror. It is not competing with the gourd vine, but with the top-notch treasure of the 12th level of the Hongmeng spiritual Forbidden City. There is no need to elaborate on the result. Su Junming was certain in his heart, and the gourd vine expanded instantly. The vines grow like dragons and snakes. In the blink of an eye, the entire square was enveloped. Seeing it in his eyes, 11 Zhao instinctively sensed the danger. Not daring to neglect, the magic power in Danshan poured into Tianhai Lingzhu like it was free of money. The mighty sword light appeared again, but before it could slash towards Su Junming. The vines as thick as a city wall were quickly squeezing towards the middle. Not good. 11 Zhao was panicked and flew straight towards the Babel Tower behind. Sudden. Boom. A strange bell rang in my ears. 11 Zhao felt his soul trembling, his magic power scattered, his body soft, and the escape light naturally stopped. The vines swarmed over and quickly wrapped it into rice dumplings. A navy blue gourd bloomed with spiritual light and took away the Tianhai Divine Pearl that was crumbling after losing control. The next moment, the sealing divine power was suppressed, and with the blessing of the Dian Divine Mirror, the power of the sealing gourd greatly increased, and it quickly suppressed the Tianhai divine pearl. The rapid loss of mana in the body made 11 Zhao wake up. After all, he is the perfect existence of Hongmeng Shangzun. In terms of cultivation, he is still far above Su Junming. Although the soul falling bell is strong, if he had not caught the opponent by surprise, it would be difficult to achieve the current victory. Fellow Taoist 11 Zhao, it seems that I have won. Staring at the green-robed Taoist standing with his hands behind his back, 11 Zhao felt extremely complicated. He never expected that he, who had never been defeated in more than 3,000 Yuanhui, would actually lose to a guy whose cultivation level was not as good as his own. Your gourd vine is definitely not a low-grade Hongmeng spiritual root. Smiling calmly, it's meaningless to argue about these things now, 11 Zayadao does. 11 Zhao's breath was stagnant. As the other party said, now that he has become the prey of the other party, it is meaningless to argue about the strength of Lingbao. You win. As soon as he said this, the strange gourd vine did not let go, but the power to swallow his own mana became stronger. His expression changed, and his eyes only pierced Su Junming. You can go to the Tower of Babel at the back and quickly take away this gourd vine. Su Junming smiled and shook his head. I never intended to let go of anyone who wanted my life. 11 Zhao was shocked and said angrily, you want to break the contract. If you haven't signed a contract, how can you break it? And I didn't promise to let you go after a fight. He has been practicing for many years and can still distinguish between fighting and fighting. The two things he just took photos of were clearly aimed at killing him, and the will to kill could not be faked at all. In this case, there is no need for him to keep a potential enemy. Bold, do you know this is Kanyang Immortal Mansion? If I didn't know, I wouldn't have come. But if you want to save your life just by relying on these 4 words Kanyang Immortal Mansion, you are a bit more confident. 11 Zhao's expression changed and he stared at the guy opposite. It never thought that it would encounter such a evil star today. You'd better think clearly. I am protecting the Immortal Mansion under the orders of my old master. If you kill me, you will die too. You are very loyal. With a thought in his heart, the restraint of the gourd vine instantly became dozens of times stronger. 11 Zhao screamed, wait, I have something to say. Feeling the tighter and tighter restraint on his body and the stronger and stronger swallowing power, he looked at Su Junming, who was still indifferent and could no longer care about anything else. Subconsciously stir up the treasure at the bottom of the middle pressure box in the Danshan. But before it could move its spiritual thoughts, it was instantly blocked by a powerful sealing force. Looking at 11 Zhao, who was submerged by the gourd vines, Su Junming smiled lightly and turned his eyes to the Tower of Babel in the back, which looked like a giant pillar. After thinking about it for a while, I didn't go there right away. Instead, he sat down cross-legged on the spot. As the center of Kanyang Immortal Mansion, the spiritual energy here is richer than the Chaos Stone Ball in Chongshan World. Time passed bit by bit. Su Junming sat for 3 Yuanhui meetings. After waking up, he stared at the magnificent stone tower opposite. After entering Hongmeng, the time of retreat is longer. After silently observing the body, especially realizing the state of Calabash Vine for a moment, a trace of satisfaction appeared on his face. It's time to go in. Finally, with some spiritual awareness, he activated his magic power and slowly flew towards the Tower of Babel. The closer the distance, the clearer the Tower of Babel becomes. At the same time, the huge Babel Tower also occupied Su Junming's sight. He slowly stopped to look at the huge tower door in front of him. It is 1,000 feet high and 800 feet wide, with a brilliant aura and a tyrannical restraint. There are not many complicated reliefs on the tower door. There is only a stone carving with an elephant head and a human figure on the upper lintel. The material of the stone cannot be seen. Looking from a distance, one can see a simple, heavy and vicissitudes of life after years of tempering. Tower of Babel. It's quite mysterious. Kaka. The sound of cracking rocks sounded. But then, the stone sculpture with an elephant head and a human body at the top of the stone gate actually came to life. Flying to the ground. Boom. The ground beneath my feet trembled a little. After standing up straight, the elephant-headed stone sculpture's original stone-gray pupils turned into indigo, and at the same time it became a little more agile. Looking at Su Junming, curiosity appeared on his face. I never thought that a monk could break through 11 Zhao's blockade and get here. Have I not before? How could it not be possible? It's just that 11 Zhao is arrogant and refuses to admit defeat. Really, if it weren't for the great formation left by the old master, he would have been killed by those great masters long ago. After muttering a few words to himself. Since the old master buried himself here, you are the third monk to come here. Who are the first two? The elephant-headed demon asked curiously, aren't you from the wild world? No. Tisk, tisk, I have to know. But with your current cultivation level, you are qualified to join the wilderness world. When you get there, you will naturally know who has been here. Su Junming nodded slowly without asking any more questions. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1201. Chapter 1180 Babel Tower, Bronze Hall. Looking at the elephant-headed demon, Su Junming narrowed his eyes slightly. You're not going to stop me like the rhinoceros in front of you, are you? Haha, I'm just a puppet made by the old master to watch the door. I can't stop a powerful Hongmeng like you. Puppet. The puppets that can exist in the 3000 UN society are not ordinary things. After saying that, he raised his left palm, and a dark blue spiritual light burst out, as fast as lightning. The strength of the elephant-headed demon is far inferior to that of 11 Zhao, and it cannot stop Su Junming's sealing light. His eyebrows were raised slightly. Is it really a puppet? He did not feel the soul in the body of this elephant-headed demon. Obviously this is not a real creature, but a puppet. The 3000 UN meeting can still run well. This puppet technique is indeed exquisite. Pity. He originally planned to search for his soul and pry into the mysteries of Kangyang Immortal Mansion and even Tongtian Tower, but now it seems that there is no chance of that. Look up again. The location of the elephant-headed demon puppet has turned into a flat stone wall, as if it had been like this before. Su Junming stared for a moment, and his expression returned to calm. With a thought in his heart, azure divine light enveloped his whole body. With a step, his figure disappeared in an instant. When he reappeared, he was already in a vast space. The surrounding white clouds are vast, and towering giant peaks are floating in the white clouds, stretching tens of thousands of feet, or even hundreds of thousands of feet. Above the sky, a scorching sun shed heavy light, illuminating the entire space. Staring at the seemingly endless giant peaks, large and small, that stretched to the end of the sky, Su Junming smiled faintly. Interesting. With one step, his body turned into an escaping light and flew towards the depths. A series of mountain peaks passed under my feet, as if the entire space was a repeated scenery. No matter how long I flew, it would be like this. About a quarter of an hour later, Su Junming stopped, looked around for a moment, and nodded slightly. This is it. Raising his right hand, the light in his palm bloomed, and a small white hammerhead the size of a palm condensed and formed. Go. Something moved in my heart. The small white hammer shot up and instantly turned into a 1,000,000-foot-high giant hammer. The huge 8-petal hammerhead was like a continent suspended in the air. The mighty aura of creation suppressed the sunlight in the sky. The hammer of creation, which had been accumulated to the extreme, suddenly struck down. It's like a huge mountain collapsed and a pillar of heaven was broken. Wherever it passed, everything collapsed into pieces. Boom. After the earth-shattering roar, a crackling sound sounded. The world where the peaks stood tall and the white clouds floated seemed to shatter like glass. Su Junming waved his sleeves, and a powerful swallowing force filled the sky and the earth. In an instant, all the fragments of heaven and earth were swallowed up. When everything calmed down, everything around him had changed drastically. Densely packed vines hang down from the sky. The vines are thick, thin, and of different lengths. The shortest one is tens of thousands of feet long. The dense vines almost covered the sky, and the cracks were pitch black, as if there was no bottom. Below is a vast ocean, but it is as calm as a pool of stagnant water. The water is green in color, although it is colorless and tasteless, but it has a hidden mystery. In the center of this vast ocean is a huge mountain. The mountain is extremely tall, but its diameter exceeds hundreds of millions of miles, making it extremely strong. It is said to be a mountain, but in fact it is more like a huge stone platform. In the center of this stone platform, a majestic hall stands proudly. The main hall is thousands of meters tall and is made entirely of bronze. Looking from a distance, a majesty that has been tempered over the years is reflected in my heart. Su Junming was standing outside this stubby giant mountain at the moment. The previous scene of giant peaks was just a half-real and half-false illusion. If it weren't for his own tyrannical methods, once he fell into it, it would be difficult for ordinary Hongmeng master to escape. Staring at the huge and majestic bronze hall, after a moment, he flicked his finger. The sharp aura cuts through the space. Boom! One layer protects the bronze palace and the thick stone mountain below. A dark yellow shield that looks extremely thick appears from the invisible. The violent collision caused the thick and translucent dark yellow shield to ripple. But even this not too big agitation made the whole space vibrate. The originally quiet vines came to life completely, like winding and writhing poisonous dragons and pythons, with an evil force. The dense appearance, with a scale of no less than hundreds of millions, is even more nerve-wracking. Suddenly, all the vines suddenly became quiet. But the evil spirit between heaven and earth reached its peak in an instant. The next moment, it was like a tiger coming out of the gate. Billions of vines were like spears, stabbing towards Su Junming like lightning. It was overwhelming and extremely oppressive. Su Junming saw it, his eyes flashed, and a palm-sized black gourd appeared from above his head. The next moment, vast spiritual light burst out from the gourd, turning into a huge black hole within tens of thousands of feet. Unimaginable devouring power bloomed, and all the flying vines were instantly swallowed up. The black light continued to expand, and the surrounding vines were slowly submerged. The vine also sensed something was wrong and struggled to retract. But in the endless darkness, there seems to be a giant with infinite strength. No matter how hard it struggles, it is difficult to regain even half of it. Boom! The originally calm water surface instantly stirred up huge waves. The green water waves were extremely viscous, and wherever they passed, even the space became riddled with holes, as if they had been corroded by something. The green waves poured directly into the black hole, but silently, as if they disappeared. Black holes continue to expand and become larger and larger. More and more vines and green water waves were swallowed up silently. Rumble. The vines were flying, the waves were rolling into the sky, and the entire space began to shake at this moment. But the big black hole seemed to be heavier than the mountains and deeper than chaos. No matter how the vines pulled and the water flow stirred, it was difficult to shake it at all. Ouch! A thick and domineering roar sounded. Immediately afterwards, an earth-shaking powerful spiritual consciousness flew from all directions. The waves were turbulent, and the vast power was like a huge mad cow, crashing directly into it. As soon as the two sides touched, the expansion speed of the huge black hole stopped, but it soon continued to expand. The divine consciousness gathered quickly and soon transformed into a giant lion covered in green scales in mid-air, with 4 hooves like an eagle and a tail like a snake and scorpion. Although this giant lion is transformed by spiritual consciousness, its body is like substance. As soon as he appeared, he showed a wild and domineering aura. Killing, madness and endless greed for flesh and blood bloomed in the huge vertical pupils. The moment the giant lion appeared, the huge black hole disappeared instantly and turned into a black gourd, dripping and spinning in mid-air. Su Junming's figure appeared again. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1202. Chapter 1181, Great Master Hongmeng, Emperor Ken Yang. Staring at the three giant lions in mid-air, Su Junming looked calm. If it were protected by a flesh shell, it would take a lot of effort to capture an idiot like you, but now, it's much easier. As he spoke, something moved in his heart. A colorful gourd of 10,000 feet in size appeared from nothingness. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple, the seven-color brilliance flashed, the gourd disappeared, and a black bell replaced it. Boom! The earth-shattering bell rang. The giant lion that sensed something was wrong and wanted to run away was instantly staggered by the sound of the bell, and its previous overwhelming power also dissipated. Before the bell even fell, the big black bell turned into a chain holding up the sky, like a giant dragon reaching through the sky, wrapping around the giant lion like lightning. At the same time, the black gourds also swarmed up and took in the giant lion. The moment it disappeared, the boiling vines in the air and the green water below seemed to have been stripped of their muscles and bones, and instantly calmed down. After taking back the swallowing gourd and the soul gourd, he turned around and looked at the bronze hall located on the thick and short mountain. It still stands firm and stable, mysterious, as if it has existed forever. After staring for a while, he smiled casually. With a wave of his big sleeves, the azure aura surged, and a black channel appeared in mid-air. The body transformed into a escaping light, flew in, and disappeared in an instant. When he appeared again, the surrounding environment had changed again. A quiet bamboo forest appeared in front of me. The bamboo is 9 feet high and as thick as a human waist, but the green bamboo leaves are shining with a rich blue-white divine light. The strong Yumu Taoist charm made Su Jun, who loved collecting various spiritual roots, understand that each of them was no less than the top-notch innate spiritual root celestial bamboo in his hand. More than 100 yuan will come, and even if there is Hongmen's creation spirit water, he can only cultivate 300 plants of azure immortal bamboo. But there are no less than 10,000 bamboo trees in the bamboo forest in front of you. In addition, he could clearly sense the existence of more powerful spiritual roots deep in the bamboo forest. He raised his eyebrows slightly and looked around. There is irreversible darkness outside the bamboo forest. Of course, that is not the real darkness, but the aura of chaos condensed to the extreme. The concentration of chaotic spiritual energy here is even higher than that of the Hunyuan stone ball that he carefully crafted. At its feet is a stone platform paved with blue stone, next to chaos and the bamboo forest. The stone platform is 100 feet in diameter, thick and hard, and most of it is occupied by a three-headed giant lion that is 30 feet long, lying on the ground, and covered with navy blue scales. It looked like it had fallen into a deep sleep. The fierce and domineering aura reminded Su Junming of the son of Hongmeng, a behemoth of destruction that he had fought against once and had one arm cut off by him. However, the aura of this guy, who was only 30 feet tall, was no worse than the one he fought against in the early years, and was even stronger. If you don't appear directly in its belly, making it difficult for it to use its strong body, it will not be so easy to subdue it. With a slap on the gourd on his waist, the invisible power of swallowing enveloped the three giant lions and slowly put them away. With a thought in his heart, he landed lightly on the stone platform. He glanced at the path that connected the stone platform and ran through the bamboo forest. After thinking about it for a while, he took a step forward. The bamboo forest is quiet, but you can't hear the chirping of insects and birds. Although it is full of vitality, it feels weird. The trail was long. After walking about 100 meters, we turned a corner and a small lake appeared in front of us. The small lake, which is 100 acres in size, is as smooth as a mirror. Su Junming could clearly sense the surprisingly rich Yumu spiritual energy in the lake. If I get this lake spirit water, my 13 gourds will have further knowledge. A slightly greedy gaze swept across the lake and stopped on the small island in the center of the lake. Most of the island, which is 5 to 6 acres in size, is covered by a strange tree that looks like a willow tree but has pink flowers as large as the top of a bowl. Seeing it, Su Junming's heart trembled. Mid-grade Hongmeng spiritual root. As someone who personally restored the Chaos Green Lotus to its original state bit by bit, Su Junming knew very well what the aura of the middle-grade Hongmeng spiritual root was like. This strange tree that looks like a willow tree has a hidden, thick and rich aura of wood. Just by looking at it a few times, you can feel the charm of the avenue of wood. Unless he has the Hongmeng spiritual root, there is no spiritual root that can make him feel this way. Under the strange tree, not far from the lakeside, is a thatched hut. It is simple, just like an ordinary house, without any strangeness at all. Su Junming took a step and instantly crossed the small lake and arrived at the island. After looking up at the strange tree, he did not follow the stone path to the hut, but walked around the hut and came to the back. Without the obstruction in front, a small pavilion deep into the small lake appeared in front of us. The entire pavilion is made of logs and is extremely simple. Under the pavilion, an old man wearing a raincoat sat cross-legged, holding a long fishing rod in his hand, one end slightly bent, hovering over the lake. The pale white fishing line goes straight down to the lake. Su Junming stepped forward and soon arrived behind the pavilion. The old man didn't seem to notice his arrival, and there was no movement at all. Su Junming didn't speak either. The two of them were sitting one behind the other, one standing and the other sitting. 100 years, 1,000 years, 10,000 years, tens of millions of years, in the blink of an eye there is a Yuan Hui. Suddenly, the fishing line in the old man's hand moved. The originally calm lake surface was filled with waves, and gradually images began to appear. Su Junming soon discovered that that was everything he experienced after entering Kanyang Immortal Mansion. Obviously, every move he makes is sensed by the other party. This didn't surprise him. If someone was running rampant in his dojo, he would know that person's behavior very well. The video is not long and will be played very quickly. This is the first time in the 3000 UN association that a monk has come up to me. There was a hint of dominance like the setting sun in the old voice. In that case, wouldn't I be honored? Su Junming's tone was calm as before. The old man slowly turned around. Under the wide-brimmed bamboo hat was a childlike face with white hair. His eyes are deep, like eagles, penetrating deep into his heart. The cheekbones are high and the face is thin, reflecting the majesty of the past. Although it was different from what he saw in that illusion, his aura was indeed that of the powerful Emperor Kanyang who once dominated the wild world. A Hongmeng Grand Master who rules tens of thousands of Yuanhui in the wild world. Su Junming's expression was solemn. Although the other party did not show any breath, he could feel that there seemed to be a bottomless abyss in front of him. It was mysterious and difficult to fathom, and at the same time it exuded a shuddering aura. But he is also very human. With confidence, I naturally don't panic. He was able to remain calm when facing Emperor Kanyang. A subtle stream of light flashed from those deep eyes, and Su Junming keenly captured the surprise in it. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1203. Chapter 1182. The Kanyang Emperor speaks freely. You are quite brave, Emperor Kanyang said calmly. If you don't have the guts, how can you get here? That's true. After a pause, but I'm even more curious. Since you killed the soul of the Chaos Lion beast earlier in its belly, why didn't you enter my Kanyang temple? You need to know that the collections that have ruled the wilderness for trillions of years are all stored in it. I'm not stupid. How could I possibly step into the trap you designed earlier? I'm afraid that many of the monks who walked into the Babel Tower were killed by the Kanyang temple. Emperor Kanyang glanced at him. How do you conclude that it is a trap? I have seen the behemoth of destruction, and I know that the strongest part of this thing is its body. But the temple is located in its belly. This method of showing weakness to the enemy is not considered clever. But for many people who don't know the behemoth of destruction for people, it's quite useful. You are indeed well informed. It seems that you are really not from the wild world. I am indeed not from the wilderness. But I am more curious, how could the emperor be willing to give up control of the wilderness and come to live in the depths of chaos? Su Junming had many questions. Coincidentally, Emperor Kanyang, who had not seen anyone for many years, rarely felt the desire to talk to anyone when he thought he had the upper hand. You have also seen the illusion in the Hongtian Palace. Although I killed Xiaomaha, the great master of the demon spirit clan, I was also seriously injured and my strength was greatly reduced. It is no longer possible to subdue those ambitious ambitions in the wild world. So I retreated in order to advance, and voluntarily gave up the control of the vast world, and came here to live. I originally planned to wait for my injuries to recover, then kill back, eliminate the rebellion, and regain the power of the world. But I didn't expect that those good disciples have lived up to my teachings and have been promoted to the realm of Hongmeng Grand Master. Although my strength is far superior to theirs, these guys control the power of heaven. If we join forces, I am no match. In addition, the demon world is looking aside, and I can't bear the world that I have worked hard for many years to turn into the hunting ground for those pickled monsters was abandoned. Su Junming glanced at him and shook his head. You're not giving up. You want to sit there and wait for the demon spirit realm and the wilderness realm to fight to the end, and then come out and seal the victory in one fell swoop. By then, the two middle-grade Hongmeng realms will be yours. Both of them will be yours. After a few years of consolidation, there is hope of advancing to the top-grade Hongmeng world. Once you succeed and sit in a high-grade Hongmeng realm, your hope of advancing to Hongmeng Supreme is at least 70%. After hearing these words, Emperor Kanyang showed appreciation on his face. I didn't expect a junior like you to be such a smart person. Su Junming smiled indifferently and said, your plan is indeed good. However, the skills and wisdom of being able to advance to the level of Grand Monarch Hongmeng are extraordinary. They will not look at you, the former overlord, looking aside. Before taking action, the two of them we will definitely join forces to kill you completely first. It seems that you are indeed not from the wild world. How do you say that? Su Junming raised his eyebrows slightly. Among the three great artifacts of the wild world, there is the heavenly heart divine realm, which can deduce the past and the future. No creature in the wild world can escape its lock. It seems you have escaped. The corners of Emperor Kanyang's mouth were slightly raised, and there was a hint of pride on his face. Of course. I thought I got this treasure from the Tianyahai back then. Although I used it to suppress the vast world, the secret of it is all in my heart. It's ridiculous that those guys thought they had completely mastered the three artifacts. Su Junming frowned slightly. He had never heard of the name Tianyahai. It was obviously an amazing place. It sounds good, but I still take it for granted based on this alone. And the great masters of the demon world may not believe it. They will definitely believe it. Seeing Emperor Kanyang's confident look, Su Junming frowned. Staring at the back not far away, he thought quickly in his mind, and even activated the destiny talisman to deduce the mystery. Soon, a hint of surprise appeared on his face. The golden cicada's plan to escape from its shell is indeed a good idea. Although Emperor Kanyang doesn't understand what the golden cicada escapes from its shell means, he can probably guess it. His eyes narrowed. You are really smart. Excellent. With a calm smile, Emperor Kanyang stared at the lake. In order to make these guys completely believe that I am dead, as early as 1,000 yuan hui ago, I released the restrictions of Kanyang Immortal Mansion and let those guys who came to spy on me take away my former body and my life. Let them take away the precious treasure Kanyang Divine Axe. Coupled with the fact that the Tianxin Divine Realm conceals fate, we should be able to deceive those guys. Of course, even if one or two have doubts, they will be covered up by everyone. Su Junming nodded. Following the crowd is not just for ordinary people. When monks gather together, they will also subconsciously obey everyone's opinions. Since they got your body and your spiritual treasure, why didn't they destroy this Kanyang Immortal Mansion as well? My immortal mansion has been arranged by me, connected with billions of chaos divine stones, and coupled with the suppression of the Kanghai divine pearl, it has just reached a balance with the netherworld black hole outside. If they destroy my immortal mansion, the formation collapses, and the netherworld giant hole collapses. The power that bursts out in an instant will cause serious injury even to Master Hongmeng. Look at my fate and you will know what will happen if I am seriously injured and on the verge of death. As you said, they are all smart people. Of course they will not be so desperate when there is no threat to life or death. Su Junming nodded slowly. It seems that you have already settled everything. Haha, is the plan of the 3,000 UN club child's play. Why does the demon spirit realm insist on starting a war with the wild realm? Su Junming asked after a moment of silence. Of course it's for cultivation. Although Hongmeng is vast and has endless resources, most of them are occupied by the famous sex and dynasty giants in the 3 mountains and 4 seas. If we don't go to a wild and remote place like our 9 wildernesses, if you don't snatch it, if you just rely on hard training, you may not be able to advance to Hongmeng Supreme when you transform into Taoism. 3 mountains and 4 seas. 9 great wastelands. Obviously this is the Hongmeng pattern, and it is something he is eager to understand. After thinking about it briefly, he asked. Anyway, with Emperor Kanyang's wisdom, he had probably already guessed his origin. What are the 3 mountains and 4 seas? What are the 9 wildernesses? Hearing this, Emperor Kanyang smiled faintly. It seems that you are really an existence that sprang out from some real world in the corner of the corner. Even the 3 mountains, 4 seas, and 9 wildernesses don't know about you. But even though you are a small role, the fact that you can come in front of me shows that you have excellent qualifications, understanding, and opportunities. Su Junming listened but said nothing. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1204. Seeing Su Junming's calm look, Emperor Kanyang continued, it's rare that someone is here, so I'll tell you a few more words. After organizing the language. Although the entire Hongmeng is vast, it is roughly divided into 3 parts. The core, where the chaotic aura is most abundant, is the 3 mountains. They are called Ancient God Mountain, Kunlun Mountain and Great Wilderness Mountain. Rumor has it that the 3 mountains are all it was opened by Hongmeng Tianzun. It is huge, has countless strong men, and is as proud as rain. It is a holy land for cultivation. Emperor Kanyang couldn't help but reveal a strong desire in his tone. Su Junming could understand his feelings. It was roughly how he felt about the prehistoric world when he was still practicing in Liaozai or Shushan world. Only by entering the 3 mountains can you have a chance to realize the heavenly Lord. In addition to the 3 mountains, there are 4 seas on the outside. They are called Netherworld Sea, Kangxiu Sea, Endless Sea and Tianya Sea. Hearing the words Tianyai again, Su Junming finally understood its meaning. Although the 4 seas is not as good as the 3 mountains, it is still an excellent place for cultivation. Only the top-grade Hongmeng world is not allowed to enter. There is a certain order in the 3 mountains and 4 seas. Even if there is a life and death feud, it will not destroy the world at every turn. In contrast, Zhuang is a completely remote place, fighting and robbing each other, the true world and the great world. I don't know how many births and annihilations there are. All the masters of the great realm in the 9 wastelands want to promote the great realm to the upper realm as soon as possible and enter the 4 seas as soon as possible. The probability of world advancement is too low. If you have this time, you might as well think about practicing hard, advance to the level of Grand Master Hongmeng, and go directly to practice in the 4 seas, Su Junming said. If it were so simple, I would have gone a long time ago. After a pause, no matter whether it is the 4 seas or the 3 mountains, monks are not prohibited from traveling. However, if I go there as a casual cultivator, unfamiliar with the place and lack of resources, I am afraid that until it is difficult to get a glimpse of the realm of Hongmeng Tianzun. In contrast, if you go as the lord of the Hongmeng upper realm, you will have the resources of an upper realm to nourish you, and you will have the opportunity to peek into the ultimate realm of Tianzun. Moreover, with the world as a basis, even if Tianzun takes action, he will resist 1 or 2, and it will be safe. Compared to casual cultivators, I don't know how much better it is. I think that I, Emperor Kanyang, have opened up the wilderness and developed it into a large world. I am determined to only achieve the pinnacle of cultivation. How can I give up my ideals because of a temporary setback? The emperor is indeed very ambitious. After slowly exhaling, Emperor Kanyang stood up. I haven't said this to anyone for a long time. He turned around and said, Junior, I think you still have some qualifications. If you are willing to become my teacher and swallow this pill, I will let you live. While speaking, Emperor Kanyang spread his right palm, and a pill that was the size of a dragon's eye, shining with light cyan light, appeared. Su Junming could feel the powerful toxicity in this pill without looking. Obviously, more than 90% of Hongmeng masters would not be able to escape its control if they took this poison pill. Su Junming is an exception. He has the Dian Divine Mirror, the top Hongmeng treasure. With the power of the divine light of creation, as long as you have enough mana, you can easily purify the poison in your body. But if you can do it, why should you be threatened by Emperor Kanyang? He had already used the Dian Divine Mirror to know everything in Kanyang Immortal Mansion like the back of his hand. If he didn't have enough confidence, he wouldn't have come here. He stretched out his hand and the poison pill flew into his palm. Tossing it in his hand, he smiled calmly. The poison is indeed strong enough, I like it. After that, he patted the green gourd and put it in. Emperor Kanyang twitched the corner of his mouth, and a trace of anger flashed in his eyes. Do I ask you to accept it? I let you eat it? Have you thought it through? I have thought clearly, knowing so many of your secrets, you will definitely not let me go, so even after birth, if I fight back, I will lose. Emperor Kanyang was filled with anger, but he was suspicious by nature and did not take action immediately. Does he have any other trump cards? Of course Su Junming had a trump card. After smiling at Emperor Kanyang, his heart moved. A gourd vine grew out of the danshan, the bright Yumu spiritual light shot straight into the sky, and the mighty aura covered the sky. Boom! The clear sound of thunder shook the surrounding areas. An extremely powerful and endless pressure descended from the sky. Emperor Kanyang's expression changed drastically. Damn it! He cursed angrily and ran away into the distance like his butt was on fire. He was afraid that he would be targeted by the catastrophe if he ran too slowly. If this happened, he would be in bad luck. He never imagined that the other party would actually come to him to escape the tribulation. Emperor Kanyang stopped only after he had left the range of thunder tribulation. Staring at the thunder clouds of the heavenly tribulation covering trillions of miles away, he, who had reached the realm of Grand Master Hongmeng, instantly recognized that this was the first tribulation of Hongmeng. That is the fate of the Supreme Lord who has advanced to become a great Lord. No, that Junior's cultivation level is obviously only in the middle stage of Hongmeng Master. How can he survive the tribulation? He understood after watching a gourd vine expand rapidly, and in a moment it had grown to a size of hundreds of millions of feet. It turned out to be just a disaster of spiritual roots. A moment of relief appeared on his face. Although the middle-grade Hongmeng spiritual root is good, it can only stop myself for a moment. If it were a Hongmeng great master, that would be a different matter. The good mood didn't last for a few moments before it solidified on his face. Damn it, my dojo. He quickly pressed his hand seal to take it back, but found that no matter what he did, it had no effect at all. Even the dojo can no longer be sensed. How can it be? Master Kan Yang's face was full of disbelief. This is the dojo where he has practiced 3,000 Yuan Hui. There are many restrictions, plus several spiritual treasures and spiritual roots to suppress it. Even if he does it himself, it will take a lot of effort to take it away. It only lasted a quarter of an hour, so why did it disappear? Su Junming held the Dian Divine Mirror in his hand and looked at the bamboo forest that was quickly taken away by the mirror light, as well as the small lake in the forest and the middle-grade Hongmeng spiritual root, with a satisfied smile on his face. After putting the treasure away and touching it lovingly, he looked at Emperor Kan Yang who was standing hundreds of millions of miles away, his face turning green with anger. Thank you, Emperor, for the treasure. The clear voice was not loud, but Emperor Kan Yang heard it clearly. My heart instantly became furious. Junior, you take my treasure and occupy my dojo. Today I will fight you until death. Gritting his teeth, raging with rage, and furious, all descriptions of the Emperor Kan Yang at this moment cannot be overstated. Su Junming glanced at him lightly and ignored him. With the Dian Divine Mirror suppressing the formation, he was not afraid of this beast at all. Looking at the huge gourd vine in front of him, which was as big as a mountain, Su Junming had no hesitation. His heart moved, and a slender dark blue torrent flew towards the gourd vine.